Hello, everyone. I'm Debbie Henry, and this is your Hartwell Hustle. And today I'm sitting down with Lane Taylor. Now, Lane knows how to help businesses. She knows how to cut through the noise of a business and help them with strategies and help with ideas and branding. And she is well known here in Hartwell. So we're going to visit with her today and find out some of her secrets. So welcome, Lane.
Thank you, Debbie.
I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
So, well, you're welcome. Okay, so tell us who Lane Taylor is. Not your business. We always started off that way, but tell us who you are.
Sure. So let's just take it back to the beginning. I was born and raised in South Central Pennsylvania, so strike one against me already. But
Not with me.
but I say it's where you end up. So I actually moved to Northeast Georgia in 2009. Okay. I attended Tacoma Falls College. I was a business and missions major there.
Business
and missions.
Admissions, okay.
Yes, with a marketing minor. And so kind of diving into marketing from the educational side, I was interested but wasn't really sure. But I met my husband there. I met Tyler. And so we've been married since 2012. And in 2018, we made Hart County our home. And so we've been here ever since.
Well, great. Well, welcome. And you have children.
Yes, I have 2 daughters.
They're adorable.
They're fun, Thea and Nissa.
Thea and Nissa. Okay. Well, imagine this. She tailors plans for companies, and her last name is Taylor.
Yes.
So tell us how it's tailored marketing. Is that right? Tell us
Yes.
how tailored marketing got started. I mean, what inspired you to do that?
Yeah, so I say I'm married into the name. So Arnold wasn't quite as cool as Taylor was. But I actually started, so originally when I graduated college, my first job was in customer service, and I was cross-training in marketing. And so kind of got my feet wet there. Had a really great mentor there, just a good place to kind of start off my career. Mm-hmm. And I guess just as I was continuing to grow and learn more, and companies change all the time, I just knew that it wasn't going to be my forever career home. And so I started looking for other options. And somewhere along that process, just a few people reached out to me and said, "Hey, are you doing this like on the side as a freelance thing?" And so I was, "Yeah, sure." And so I started talking to these folks, and just, I think that's when the idea really came into my head. But it was never something that I originally planned to do. So I always say that tailored marketing is my favorite accident. I remember walking around my property, talking to my husband and saying, "I just want to work for somebody. I just want to go 9 to 5 and come home. I don't want to have to worry about finding clients and doing all these things." And then here we are.
Couldn't be
fully
further from
engrossed
That's right.
in all of those things. And so I think that I was talking myself out of it at that point. And then so I actually started doing that as a side hustle. I went to work as a director of marketing for a nonprofit. And I was like, this is it. This is like, I have reached the director status. This is where I want to be. And then in 2020, the world went crazy, and I found out I was pregnant at the same time. And so what a time to be alive and be a business owner and be a director and all of these things. And so I knew that something would have to give.
Okay.
And so I talked to my husband, and we just decided, like, hey, let's take the leap, and I'll come home and I'll be a stay-at-home mom, and I can grow my business. And that's what we decided to do. And so in 2020 was when I think tailored marketing for real was born as a full-time endeavor, even though I had been doing it for 3 years up to that point.
Did you ever consider any other names besides tailored marketing?
Not for the company, no. I've considered doing some offshoots and some different projects off of that, which I have one in development right now. But it was not, tailored marketing was just kind of where I landed.
Okay. Tell us about your clients. What kind of clients do you have?
Yeah, so mainly I serve really 3 different kind of buckets or categories of clients. So the first one would be direct to business. And so that is the business owner someone who is a small business or medium-sized business owner. And so I'll work directly with their company, kind of as like an offshoot of their company. So really their partner in marketing.
Okay. I love that, partner, because really in marketing, that's what it's all about.
Yes, it's absolutely needed. You can't do marketing in a silo, especially when you're working for a small business. You can't just throw them into your funnel and be done with it. So that's something that I'm really passionate about, is working directly with the clients as a partner and having that transparent relationship. And then that kind of leads over into like the nonprofit space, very similar to the small business, but nonprofit definitely has its own unique challenges and just different. It works differently. You know, you're not necessarily always selling a product or service. You're looking for advocates and donors and things like that. So that is definitely a different world.
Well, didn't you say, or did I misunderstand, that you worked for a nonprofit?
I did.
So you understand that.
Yes.
You really understand that business.
Yes.
More so than just someone who does marketing for one. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. And then the third would be what we call agency white labeling. So I always say
agency
white label.
Okay.
Yep. So you're basically, let's say, 1 to 2 marketing professionals or connections away from probably every marketing agency out there. That might be a little extreme, but it feels like it some days. So for the white labeling, what happens is an agency will reach out to me and say, hey, we need somebody to run Google Ads for our clients. We don't want you to talk to the clients. We have a project manager to do that. We'll, help with strategy. But we need somebody to run it and make sure that it's day-to-day doing what it's supposed to do. And so then I would be added to their accounts, and then I would take on that role as like a member of their team. And so just kind of a behind-the-scenes member of their team. And so there's about, I would say, just under a dozen agencies across the U.S. that I'm doing that for right now.
How did they find you?
So mainly through Facebook networking groups.
Okay.
I found a lot of agency or small marketing company owners who are like, I want to add Google Ads is really the big one, or content development or something like that. And I just need somebody that can consistently do this. Let's work out a plan. And so that's how I found most of them.
Okay. Do you have a favorite of those 3 buckets?
Oh. It's kind of honestly, it goes back and forth.
I was going to say, it depends on the day
it depends on the day. I think all of them have such unique challenges, and just, it keeps it interesting being able to do all 3. I will say that as far as service industries go, I mainly work with service industries. So I will work with people who sell products. But as there's mainly services, I do probably like working with the most, or just fall into that category of like home services. So anything from your contractor, your painters, your roofers, your real estate agents, and so on and so forth. Like that kind of niche is where I think I personally enjoy working the most.
Okay. Well, okay, let's talk for a minute. You are local.
Yes.
You service all over the country. Before I ask you this next question, what's the furthest? Who's your furthest?
Who is my
client that's the furthest?
Yes. So my furthest client is actually in Costa Rica.
Oh, wow.
So I have a client in Costa Rica. They are a surf school. And then I would say I used to have an agency partnership in Washington State. They have since moved, so they're a little closer now. But those, I think, would be my furthest. I did have a consult one time with a girl in Scotland.
Wow.
So that was fun.
Wow. That's crazy. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So back to your clients. Let's kind of move it back that way. You mentioned contractors and that kind of thing. Let's say you have, since you're local, you have 2 contractors.
Yeah.
How do you differentiate? How do you keep each one individual and having its own identity? How does that work?
Yeah. So this is actually a really great question. It's something that's super important to me. Because I used to work, when I got started, I worked in kind of the manufacturing sector. And so I would get cold calls all the time from companies who were like, we work specifically with businesses like you. I see it a lot in healthcare and other places of agencies who work specifically with a certain niche. And I have really been hesitant about that just because of the experiences that I've had. I tell clients, If there is someone who works only in your niche for marketing, it is oftentimes a red flag. It's not always a red flag, but it is oftentimes a red flag. Please, please, please read your contracts before you sign them. And this is a rabbit trail, but I think small businesses definitely need to be aware that there are people out there who, in your contracts, they will build you websites, and if you leave them, your website will disappear. You are leasing, you are not owning. And so making sure that you own everything is super important. And so that's something that I really want all my clients to know, is that when you're getting a service, you're getting social media work, you're getting content, you're getting a website, a logo, all those things, you own that. That is yours. I'm not going to take it back. You pay your bills, you get it. I don't take it. So I think that that's super important, especially for small businesses, to avoid that pitfall of losing a lot of money. And it's just so sad to see. I've had to do cleanup work for several businesses, and it's just, it's a terrible process. Right. But that was my sidebar on that one. I think what's really important for me when working with two companies, especially that are in the same industry, but especially that are local, and might be competitors, they might overlap, is making sure that they're receiving the individualized attention that they deserve, that it's not who emailed me the most this month that's going to get the most service or something like that. I don't ever want a client to feel like that. And so one of the things that I look at from the brand perspective is every brand is different. Every brand is unique. And so I want to get to know my clients for not just what they do, but why do they do it? And I think that the why is so important. And you can copy someone's colors, someone's font, someone's mission statement verbatim if you want to. But if you don't understand the heart behind it and you don't understand the why behind it, and that isn't ingrained in you and what you're doing, it's going to fail. So make sure that your identity is unique and that is something that you and your staff are bought into. And so really just kind of finding out, who is this company? What is unique to them? What are their unique goals? Obviously, everybody's goal at the end of the day is going to be to make money. Right. But, do you want people to call you because you have the best customer service staff ever? Or do you want somebody to fill out a form because they go right to you and you're going to personally answer? What does that look like? So that's really important when working with two very similar companies. But I also have, just to keep everything very tailored, very unique to them, I have a team that I work with, and so competitors do not work with the same person. So if you're doing social media, the person that's doing, your plumbing social media is not the same person who's doing any other plumber's work inside your service area.
How many people are on your team?
So I have 15
on my
team.
That's a good size.
Yes. So across social media, content writing, and Google Ads, we have 15 people. And then I have strategic partnerships with other agencies, graphic designers, website developers, and things like that. So projects, large to small, whatever your price point, that's kind of what we try to look to work with.
If, let's play what if. If a business calls you and they have no clue, no concept, but they know they need something more, where do you start with them? I mean, what's the one piece that you would say to them, we got to get this down before, besides the why? I mean, obviously the why is so important. Yeah. But what would be the next step?
Yeah, I think that what's most important for a client is to have their branding in place. So do you have a logo? Do you have...
I do.
She
in case
does.
You haven't seen it.
She does. It's beautiful. Do you have a logo? Do you have particular fonts that you use when associated with your brand? Do you have a brand guide that you're using, that your team is seeing, so that they know, hey, we don't just, shoot this all out on hot neon pink backgrounds, right. That it kind of aligns. So that's kind of like a basic side that I definitely want to look at with folks. And a lot of people will have a logo, whether or not it's been, professionally done or not. It could be something that they put together themselves. But I think that the most important piece that a business has is a website. There is social media, and yes, it's free. You get what you pay for with social media. Are other avenues out there, but at the end of the day, the one thing that you own, that you can speak and put your words and showcase it in a way that's unique to you, is your website.
Okay.
You can design that very customized to who you are. And it also is really foundational to your whole web presence.
Okay.
Anything that I do for you is going to point back to your website. So if your website doesn't exist, where are we going to send them?
Right.
And so it really helps with credibility. It helps with sharing your message. It helps with SEO and getting found online and all of the things. So I think that's probably my number one. If you have to invest in something, that's where you go.
Okay. So how do you measure whether that's successful or not?
Yeah. I think success it's definitely going to look different for everybody depending on what their goals are. But measuring what is happening on your site and what is happening on your phone lines is one of the most important things that you can set up. You want to know how many people are actually calling, how many people are clicking on the pages that you want, watching the videos that you want, filling out the forms. And so setting up, our team sets up conversion tracking, and we make that super granular. So for example, if I have a client that's selling metal buildings, I want to know how many people not just submitted a form. I want to know who submitted the form on this page, who submitted the form on this page, who submitted the form on this page. And so we break it down very granularly so that you can look back and see, hey, this page had 1,000 hits. It got 1 conversion. This one had 1,000 hits. It got 20. So you can kind of see what's working and what's not. And so really taking advantage of free tools like Google Analytics, Google Search Console to see how your site's doing with user interactions and then how it's ranking on Google as well.
Okay. Well, all this is great, but it costs money.
It does. It does cost money.
And when someone's budgeting, let's say there's a startup business and they're budgeting for all of this.
Yeah.
What kind of budget would someone set out?
Yeah, I think budget is very unique based on what services you're going to use. For example, I have a kind of a collection of a la carte services that you can put together, and based on the intensity of those services or the frequency is going to change the price. I think for small businesses, it is just unfathomable to think I'm going to spend 10 to 20 grand a month marketing. I think that's like, bleh. Yeah. It's not something that I want my clients to feel like. I don't have anyone that pays me $10,000 to $20,000 a month. It's not a thing. I think a healthy small business budget starting out would be if you can spend $1,000 a month, that's a great place to start, and it's going to get you a good start. As you move into some more intensive things, such as like Google Ads, and you want to show up when people search for your products or services, you do have to take into account when you're running ads, you're going to pay the person who's managing it and you're going to pay the platform. So you got to pay Google and then you got to pay me.
In addition to the $1,000.
As a part of that. So, yeah.
So like I could come just for transparency's sake and for people like me that, have to have it broken down. So they give you $1,000 and that could, depending on the a la carte menu item.
Yep.
That could include your administration and your ad spend and that kind of thing. Okay.
It could. So ideally what we would do is when I have a client that's interested is that I set up a meeting with them, and that's a free consultation. We sit down and we talk about their business. We talk about where they're at, what they're currently doing, and where they want to be. And so from there, I can take that and say, hey, let me put together a proposal for you. I will give you best case scenario. Like, based on our conversation, if you want the magic to happen, this is what it is. This is what it's going to cost. What would be a comfortable level budget for you? And then I can give you a tiered option of, hey, most expensive, this is what you're going to get. But if you have only $2,000 to spend or $1,000 to spend or $500 to spend, this is what options you could get through that based on our conversation and what I think is going to be most effective for you.
Well, and it's nice because they're talking directly with you.
Yes.
And you know their motives, you know their intentions, and you can say, okay, well, we can't get there yet, but we can work that way because you can't, unless you've just got really deep pockets, you can't go out and spend several thousand a month
Sure.
on marketing. At least a small business cannot.
Right.
But what I love and have seen about you is you can grow with someone. So what is the? We all know Hartwell's growing. How do you hope or plan to grow your business?
Oh, honestly, I've actually thought about this a lot because the industry that I'm in, there's a very strong push to obviously know your worth, know your value, know what we bring to the table. This is a very strong push in the marketing industry to not serve small businesses because you'd rather have 20 grand a month,
just like we talked about. Yeah, that's right.
Versus, $10, $100 a month clients or whatever, the extremes. And so I think that for me personally, I've always been the small business person. I got started because I got tired of seeing small businesses getting screwed over by companies who just wanted to put them in their system and make a couple dollars, send them a automated report, and it looks like something's happening. And so as my business grows, honestly, I want to continue to grow organically and through word of mouth and through businesses who just I can build that relationship with and be able to serve them whatever, obviously there's minimum price points that we have to do. It's competitive, but I don't want people to feel like this isn't attainable.
Right.
That they can't compete online because I'm just a small business in Hartwell, Georgia, or I'm just a small Northeast Georgia business. No, there's definitely avenues that we can use to help you compete.
So share a success story with us.
Yeah. So when I was in my going from I only want to work a 9 to 5 to this would be a cool side hustle. I was actually introduced to a company. I won't say who they are for their own privacy, but I was introduced to a home services company. And they were a small company at the time. I was their first marketing person, their website person introduced me. And we've actually are really good friends. We continue to work with this company today, 8 years later. But they and us and myself have both said we grew up together in this business world. So they started as a family owned and operated business and now have 3+ locations and growing.
Oh, wow.
Are serving Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. And they have some huge growth on the horizon in the coming years. So super excited for that, to see how we went from just running a couple Google ads to they're on billboards across Georgia. They're in your shopping carts at Ingles sometimes. Nice. They're everywhere. And so, that was one of the businesses that's near and dear to my heart that I'm excited to see them continue to grow.
Good. Are there any trends coming up that you see that, businesses need to know about?
I think the big one that everyone has kind of heard about already in some form or fashion is AI.
AI.
AI, and it's such a polarizing conversation. You either love AI and you use it for everything, and you probably use it too much, or you absolutely hate it and it's terrifying. And I think it's both. I think it's fantastic. I do use it too much, and I also think it's equally terrifying.
Right.
But I think a trend that we have to understand as far as marketing is that we like to talk. We like relationships as humans. We like to speak and talk out our questions. That's why Siri and Alexa do so well. And so when we have questions, there was a long-standing, so Google has adapted to this. It used to have the answer box. So you could ask a question, what is the best restaurant I can go to tonight versus restaurants near me? And it would have a little box and it would say some of the highest rated local restaurant, whatever. We've shifted that conversation to ChatGPT. And we say, hey, Chat, what should I cook for dinner tonight?
Right.
Hey, Chat, who should fix my roof? And we're starting to ask those questions and use ChatGPT as our own Google.
Yeah.
It's like Ask Jeeves with no human behind it.
I'm old enough to remember Jeeves.
Right? Jeeves. We love Jeeves. And I think that we're going back to that. And so I'm getting questions about I'm getting questions from clients about like search engine optimization. Will I show up in Google, but will I show up in ChatGPT? And that is just something that is so on just a whole new level.
Mm-hmm.
It's very expensive, first of all. No, I don't do that right now, but it is very, very expensive. The tools just for marketers to be able to track it are very expensive. But I think that it's something that we need to be aware is happening. And so having your website set up in such a way that, because it browses the web, you need a website. You need a website that answers your clients' questions. If you don't have an FAQ section that is like a solid FAQ section on your website, like start there today.
Well, you know what just hit me is I'm more relational than technical. And I've had no trouble adapting to AI.
Yeah.
I have trouble adapting to a computer or sitting down to, I can do it, but I don't necessarily like it. But I'll pick up the phone and talk to ChatGPT in a heartbeat. Mm-hmm. And I guess, it's going to be interesting to see things kind of go in a shift and are cyclical.
Yes.
And so it may be that we are all coming back to being relational. Who knows?
Yes, that'd be great.
I don't know. Okay, so I know you're a great mom. And if you were not doing this as your career,
yes,
aside from just being a full-time mom, what would you do?
Aside from just being a full-time mom,
Not just being a full-time
mom. No. Aside from that, I think in addition to that,
there you go.
Adding to my resume, I think that I would actually be in real estate. I'd be over there with you, Debbie.
Okay. And see, I would be where you are.
There we go.
So we'll
just swap. Okay. We'll have a Freaky Friday moment one day and just switch. But no, I definitely, my husband and I kind of dabble in real estate investments. We're hobby house flippers. And so we love old historic homes. And so one of our big things, my husband was a history major. And so both really passionate about just finding old homes that have stories and bringing them back to life as opposed to just bulldozing it and making something new that looks like everything else. And so,
well, if you ever decide to go down that road, let me know. I'd love to help you.
Yeah, awesome.
So how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, so on my website, tailoredmarketingllc.com.
And that's TAY?
TAYLORED, marketingllc.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. So you can send me a message there. I have my phone number on the bottom of my site or across any of those social media channels. So feel free to shoot me a text, call, whatever you would like to do.
Great. Well, thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. And you've been great. And like I said, I always learn something from everyone that's here. And I've known Lane for a while, but I've learned more today. So, if you're not using a marketing person, I would strongly urge you to do so. And I think it helps your business. And if you can use someone local, I think that's even better. So again, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day, and we'll see you next time on the Hartwell Hustle.